Welcome to Beauty Uncovered. And I am so excited today because today we have Doris Dalton and Leigh Griffen from Doll10 Beauty. And I'm so excited that you're here today.
We are beyond thrilled, Danielle, to be with you today.
I really have been excited about this brand. I actually had heard about it from a mutual friend a few years ago, and I've read so much about it, but I would love for you to tell me a little bit about how you guys got started, because it is really quite fascinating and unique.
Well, it's interesting because you know that old adage, what is it? Necessity is the mother of all inventions. And that's kind of what happened to me a little over 10 years ago. I suffered from a very rare form of cancer called Hürthle cell carcinoma. And that's actually a disease of the thyroid. It's cancer of the thyroid. And when I was diagnosed with it, Danielle, it was usually actually a thyroid disease that happened to people that were much older in life than I was at the time. So no one really knew why or how. And I started like looking at the things that I was eating, the things that I was putting on my skin and what was happening. But when I was going through treatment, I lost all my eyebrows. That's actually how I knew I was sick. My eyebrows were gone. They had fallen out. And that's how I was like, you know, being a doctor, I'm like, there's something going on with myself. Your eyebrows just don't fall out.
It fell out before any treatment.
Before anything. That's actually, you know, my eyebrows were getting thinner and thinner and thinner. Then pretty soon they're like, I didn't have any eyebrows. My skin was getting really dry. I was kind of listless. And I was like, there's something the matter. So, you know, all of my friends are doctors. So I'm like, can one of you guys just do a scan really quick? And my friend came out who was he did an MRI on my neck. He's like, I don't like what I see. And I was like, oh crap. So, so it kind of led from there. So I had to have my thyroid removed. I had to go through all kinds of treatment. And it really left me with really bad skin, no eyebrows, and Olaplex, which everyone in my office is incredibly nuts over. They're also excited that we're even chatting today. It was really important. That mutual friend gave me some Olaplex to use in my hair. So it was just one of those things. I started looking at what I was putting on my skin. And I think when you have a life-altering moment, you really have like that light bulb goes on and you want to change things about yourself and change what you're doing. So I started, this was a decade ago, Danielle, when nobody really cared what was in makeup. Nobody cared.
Before clean was even
Clean wasn't even a buzzword. Clean wasn't, no one cared about it. They didn't even know what they were reading on their ingredient decks. So I was like, I didn't want to put that on my skin. And Leigh knows
you couldn't, frankly.
Well, my skin is still really bad. I have a lot of rosacea, dryness in my skin. Having my thyroid up put me into early menopause. So all kinds of weird things happened to my body. So I created a couple of products, and quite honestly, this is the interesting story, just for myself. I had no intention of having a brand. It was never even in my, I was practicing, had a great, vibrant practice and seeing my patients. And I just never really, I was just creating this. I said, I need my brows, you know, I had no glow to my skin and just like whip this stuff up. And Doll10 happened really osmotically, right? Like it was this organic kind of thing. And people wanted the products. I would get compliments on my brows and I was laughing, not laughing, but I was like, I don't have any brows, and compliments on my skin. And I'm like, man, my skin is not great. So people wanted it. And I started giving in like little Tupperware containers and like giving it to people. And that's kind of how it started.
Doll10 was really the skincare makeup hybrid before the skincare makeup hybrid was cool, because you know, from Doris's perspective, going through the treatment, your skin is so sensitive, right?
Like it still is.
And she really just couldn't use the products that were on the market. So she had no other choice really but to create an alternative. And I think one of the things that you said, Danielle, before we came on, which I think touched both of us, is that you really love to empower women. And that's another huge driver of why you created the brand, right? Is you lost that sense of femininity and yourself, and you really—
It must have been really, really hard. I mean, because when you're going through a disease or an illness in your skin, your hair, it's hard enough that you're having that battle. but then to have your appearance in some ways taken away from you.
It was.
It must have been really empowering to be able to come up with something like this.
Well, it was a really interesting time in my life, because you have the fear of going through a disease and what's going to happen. Is it going to come back? Is the treatment going to work? What was going on with your bodies? And I had a very young son at the time, and he's older now, and I'm a grandma now. But it's you're going through that, but then also you're looking in the mirror, and that devastation that kind of happens because you're not recognizing who you are. You're looking in the mirror, and there's just so much change that happens, and you really, really crave that sense of self. So I knew that there were when the products, I started giving to other people, and I was like, other people are experiencing things that I was experiencing, maybe not on the higher level or maybe even higher, but just looking in the mirror and saying, I want myself back. So that's kind of how Doll10 came about. And it has been this kind of freight train. It's been amazing. I always think that when I was diagnosed, because a lot of people don't live with this type of cancer, a lot of people, pass on. And I really always thought that this was my second calling in life. This was why I was spared, and to touch people's lives. And even this is interesting, because it's a completely women-run company, which is crazy sometimes, by the way. There's a lot of women in here. It's all women, but even men that suffer from hair loss and brow loss and these kind of things actually benefit from it too. So that was my aha moment when I knew that I was actually making a difference in people's lives. And that's why Doll10 has been it's not work for me. And I know it's not work for you. I mean,
too much fun.
I just love every day what I do, and spreading the word and helping people. And it's amazing. It's an amazing second chance at life. It's my do-over, if that makes sense. Even though,
and it is interesting because you were a doctor for 30 years.
I know.
And then to be transforming into a whole different career role. But I have to go back to, and we were talking about this, that, about bringing how you feel on the inside and have it match on the outside. But in many ways, when you're going through trauma, and that could be a disease, it could be something emotional. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you're not feeling particularly beautiful on the inside. And sometimes you need to do stuff on the outside to remind yourself who you are.
Danielle, we have this thing at Doll10 that we say, which is, give us 10 minutes and 10 powerful ingredients, and we'll really change the way that you feel about yourself. And that was really born from our own experiences, right? And really just striving with every product, with every ingredient, to empower women to feel beautiful. Because when you take those 10 minutes, when you are down at your lowest low, right? No matter what life is throwing at you, if you take those 10 minutes, and even if you just put a lip color on, even if you just fill in the brows, right? It just makes a world of difference. And Doris and I always say, when you feel better about yourself, no matter what else is going on behind the scenes, it's a domino effect in every other part of your life. It affects your friendships, your work life, your relationships, and everything kind of goes up from there. So when you feel good about you, life kind of blossoms right in front of you. So if our lipsticks can help that, or our mascaras can help that, then our job is done.
It's done. I mean, it really is. That's what Doll10 stands for. It's like getting dolled up in 10 minutes or less. It's just 10 minutes is not too much to ask to give to yourself.
It's really not.
I mean, we
okay,
give so much.
I want to ask with the two of you. So you walk me through your 10 minutes. I want to know what your 10 minutes are to get to where you are.
My 10 minutes are crazy. I am a busy working mom, and I've just had a baby. I have an 8-week-old. So my 10 minutes are like bottle feeding, putting on the mascara, like in the rear view mirror of the car, putting on the lip gloss. But, we have this conversation with each other all the time. It's not negotiable for us. We take those 10 minutes every day, and sometimes it's a little more, sometimes it's a little less, but we've seen the impact in our own lives and in the lives of our community. And it's really just such a game changer. And I think not enough women can appreciate that. And even if it's 10 minutes at night, even if the morning gets away from you and you're putting your Olaplex treatment in your hair, just take a little time for you. take a little time to just help you feel good about you, because like we always say, right? You can't pour from an empty cup. So feel good about that woman from the inside out, and life just kind of loves you back.
Yeah. I mean, 10 minutes for me, I love a full face of glam just because my skin is really devastated underneath. I have very sensitive.
You're also on air like every other day. So she doesn't.
I'm on air
really
tonight too. So yeah. But I have literally, my makeup routine is so quick. It's like also too with Doll10, Danielle, like we really kind of take the chaos out of makeup, because makeup nowadays, there's so much, it can be daunting. We want like products that work really easy, really fast, but give you the results that you're looking for. So like our foundation, our latest foundation, our concealers, like literally just won 9 awards last week. I'm not even kidding. Like customer choice.
I heard about that.
Yeah, our concealer was just
New
Beauty Award for best full coverage and concealer. So these products are like really easy. They're efficacious, but they're really good. And it's not even, and I love the fact that beauty companies are finally getting on the trend about worrying about what they're putting in their products
and what they're not.
But our list isn't just like what you see at like the major beauty retailers. We're a global brand. So we're in Australia, we're in Japan, we're in Germany, Italy, UK, everywhere. So we actually formulate to eat 1,300 ingredients on our do not use list.
Now I saw that you have,
I saw
that you have a pink list.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
I love everything pink.
I do too.
The pink list is something that we're really proud of as a brand. And it's really kind of, one of the things that is not negotiable for us at Doll10. And what the pink list is a list of ingredients that we don't use, and a list of sub ingredients for those no-nos. So in place of things like formaldehyde agents, in place of things like parabens, sulfates, mineral oils, we're using things that are good for your skin. Things like aloe vera, things like sunflower
bamboo
seed oil,
silk,
lavender extract, turmeric, all kinds of things that really are driving your skin into skin health, as opposed to the other direction, which honestly is kind of scary that, a lot of brands are still using. Let's be honest.
Yeah. And I think as more of them are starting to come on board, I'm really happy about that. I feel like in the very beginning, that was always a non-negotiable for us. But to get back to my 10 minutes, I can get this entire face done in 10 minutes.
I know you can.
No way.
I swear. I
That is like, I feel very underdressed in comparison to you ladies.
Don't. I literally, because I use TCE foundation, and TCE stands for This Covers Everything. And it's your serum and your foundation, and it gives myself the most beautiful, flawless finish. A little TCE concealer. I pop my brows on, little mascara and a lip and a blush. And I kid you not. If I want to take my time and like get a little fancy with my eyes, it might take me 12 minutes, but Doll12 doesn't sound good. So 10 minutes. So Doll10.
Now, also you were a former Mrs. America too. So you probably have a little bit of experience here.
I was. That's actually what thrusted me into the beauty industry. Like I said, I was a wellness doctor, and that's what I was doing. And then when I won the Mrs. America pageant, it kind of put me into a world that I really wasn't that well acquainted with. And I got to see so many different things, work with so many different makeup artists, and see the behind the scenes in the beauty industry and the fashion industry, and traveled the world. So it was really an eye opener, but I did change a lot of my beauty, secrets and applications once I learned, and I sat with all of these amazing artists. I mean, if you look at a picture of me in 1980 and a picture of me now, my makeup's a little bit better.
I think all of us.
A little bit better.
All of us. I think I might have been doing like rainbow mascara. No, it was bad. It was bad. So tell me, what would you say is, let's say for your TCE super coverage concealer, okay? What would you say is your application secret? Because there's like, people have different ways of applying different things. So I'm kind of curious, what is your secret for keeping it flawless?
So I'll tell you right now what the secret is for TCE.
Yeah, go.
Less is more.
Yes.
So it's a super concentrated formula. It's one of the most concentrated formulas actually that's on the market, that is on the market, in terms of both pigment load, and the level of skincare ingredients that are in it. So you need a tiny bit. You're going to start with a little bit, and then you can add more as you need it. But it is going to give you the most incredible flawless coverage. It's giving you ingredients like vitamin C that are going to brighten the under eye. So for somebody like me that's looking for a quick, I love that I'm getting ingredients that are almost like an eye cream while I'm getting the coverage and the brightening at the same time. So start with a little bit and then add more as you need it.
Also, and how do you blend it in?
So it's interesting. I have a little trick. I'm going to give you a little trick. So first of all, this is made with a surgical steel tip. So it's always cold. So if you've got a little bit of puffiness or, you know, I always say happy tears or whatever it is, you can take that surgical steel tip and then just roll that underneath the eye.
Or you just don't sleep, which is like most of us, right?
Well, that's because you're a new mommy. I sleep
for 8 weeks. You're not sleeping, girl. You're not sleeping.
I know. But don't you think it's true? Like so many of us don't sleep. So it's like to just know that you can wake up and feel like, okay, nobody has to know. Here we go.
Here it is. It feels good. But also I think with concealers, it's really important. You want to stay within what they call the triangle of light. So a lot of times what happens is when we put on concealers, we just kind of keep putting it on and keep extending it. But the triangle of light starts from the inner part of the eye to the outer part of the eye. And then you do a triangle down to the middle of the cheek. I also let my concealer, this is what I do. I also let my concealer set for about 15 seconds. Like I don't put it on and just smear it right away. I let it just kind of set. For 15 seconds. Yeah, just about 15 seconds. Then it's because, you know, this dries really quick and that's the secret why everyone loves it. Concealers that take a long time to dry will always crease. But here, it sets in 15 seconds, it's almost completely dry. And then this way, you don't really have to move it around a lot. I just kind of pat through with the sponge.
That's like a life hack that I do it with anytime I do foundation or concealer, I put it on and I just let it set. I don't know if in my head, it's like, let it get to skin temperature. So it spreads.
It's very smart.
I don't know if it's true, but just in my head, it made sense.
It is true. And then what happens too, because they're liquids or creams, is that the fluid part starts to evaporate and then what ingredients that you want to absorb into the skin. But a lot of times you'll use less product because it's concentrated when you put it on. And then you don't have to be a massive blender. You know, you can just put it on and then just pat with either, you know, your sponge or your brush. But the key too really is to remember placement. I think a lot of times with concealer underneath the eye, stay within the triangle of light. With foundations, make sure that the top of your head down to wherever your shirt, close to the girls if you have an open shirt.
That, well, you follow that rule.
I have to be better about that. I have to just, at the very least, I get my jawline, but I'm so lazy.
Gotta go down. You have to, because everyone thinks that your head's from here to here, but when we're looking at each other, the top of your head to wherever your shirt stops. So I bring it to wherever my clothing stops.
You're good. You're better than I am. I got to be better.
That must be the old pageant days in me. That's what it is.
I know it makes sense. There's been more than one time that like I have my face all made up and then I realize how white my neck and my décolleté looks. It's not really.
You know, it's really good though too. If you don't want to bring your foundation all the way down, is just to take a concealer. I mean, a contour powder and just contour down the chin and down the neck, and it gives you color because you want your face and your neck and your chest to match, right? You don't want your face to be like this perfect thing and then all of a sudden like the neck and the chest don't match the rest of the head. So
you find that your customers are intimidated by the whole like contouring thing. Because I have to admit, like when I was younger, contouring was basically taking pink blush and putting it right underneath your cheekbone, and that was the contouring of your face.
The great thing is that contouring, I think what we've seen is really kind of out, right? It's on its way out. And what's on its way in. Do you think though? I think
never for me.
I think so.
I'll contour.
I know you will, but I think like what I did today is I used one of our new products that's going to be launching. It's a liquid body bronzer, and I use that on my face to add warmth. So I think what's coming back in now is minimalism, yes. And really bronzing and warming the skin as opposed to those harsh angles and the gray tones and you have to put this here and this here. You know, it gets to be complicated. So I think what's coming back in is bronzing and warmth and radiance and you know, just
So
adding
tell me
that
about this
content.
product, because as you can tell, I am not
I
a bronzing
need to-
queen.
Danielle, I need to send that to you actually, because it's over there on
Oh,
the
let me grab
thing.
it. Okay, I'm gonna-
Because I
But-
don't get much paler than this.
Well, you have beautiful skin. I mean,
Thank you.
you have gorgeous, gorgeous skin. But I honestly think it's interesting. I think contour is a way, doesn't have to be that harsh like Instagram contour.
Right.
I love to contour because it actually, as someone that's aging, you know, I'm 58, I'm aging, my cheekbones and the structure of your face, you lose some of that fat structure in your face. When you contour, it's a way to recreate the look that you haven't, your face hasn't like went down south.
Right.
I always say like
I'm
your apples
15,
have
I'm
dropped down.
49 years old. So it's like, I have to put something
Put
to
a little
kind of keep things.
contour.
Yeah.
You will love this. So this is actually not launched yet.
Well,
It's sold out on our website. We
Within
did a pre-launch.
hours,
It sold
God.
out in like 4 hours.
Okay.
It's not officially launched yet. And what it is I'm going to let Doris talk about it because she loves it. I'll just tell you how I use it. I love that it's matte and I love that it blends really easily and it looks really natural. It's like a liquid sunshine. So I like to use this on my forehead and on my cheeks and on my chin to just add some warmth to the skin. You see, I have it on now and I'll add a little more. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Doris so she can.
Because I got to
People
say, when
about
it
it.
comes to any of the kinds of bronzers out there, I mean, I live in Florida, so you would think, oh, always out in the sun, but I'm always protecting myself constantly. And to have but I still love the bronzing look, but it would have to be something like that. So to find something, and
Yes.
have shiny and have sparkles in it, and I can't do sparkles.
All right.
No sparkles.
No spark. All right. This product, you and I are kindred spirits because I have to tell you this. I'm a slight, you're fair, I'm a light. So you and I are almost in the same tone. You can see I'm a little bronzed up because we launched this on Tuesday and I've been wearing it because I want to see how many days I can get. I'm a strange being in the best way possible. But I've always, I don't go in the sun, and 90% of your aging process happens from the sun. So instead of having to Botox yourself all up, because you're getting all this sun that's causing premature aging and freckling and wrinkling and all of that UV damage, I just don't either. So I am consistently from January to December, I'm a light. I'm always light. I don't tan. But I love the look of a tan. I think it's pretty. I think it's feminine. It makes you look firm. It makes me look thinner. I'm all about that. So for years now, Leigh uses it completely different than I do. But for years, I've been trying to create a product that went on your skin, wasn't shiny, was good for your skin. This has caffeine. It has aloe vera, green tea, like all the collagen, like
So I
all
love
of
that
these,
it's firming
and
like
vegan,
cellulite.
like. Yeah, so good for your skin. But when you put it on, it gives you this most beautiful tan, waterproof, scored excellent in waterproof in our testing. But I'm going to show you. I wanted to.
You were ready for this. You were.
No, I
really
wasn't that I
ready.
was ready for it. But I put this on Tuesday when we did that pre-launch and it blew out. But I didn't. If you go in the shower, it stays on. If you use soap and water, it'll come off.
Your audience is probably like, wait, what?
I did take a shower. I did, but I didn't.
You just need to use soap.
I got to
She
show
left
you.
one arm out.
Watch it. This is the coolest stuff. Like you put this on and instantly it bronzes your skin and it sets instantly. It doesn't transfer. You don't have to wait for it, but it's not a self tanner where you're waiting for the color to develop and you can take it off. But look at that. I'm obsessed with
I
this
know
product.
you are. And the
So
thing-
you don't have to wait a long time to like.
It's already
anything
dry.
covers
Look.
it.
It's already dry.
That's like miraculous because
I know. Look,
I've
like,
always wanted, anytime I
crazy,
tried
right?
to do
Look.
a bronzer, I'm telling you right now, it has gotten everywhere on my clothing, on my white porcelain. It's everywhere.
yeah, it's this product. It's just like.
And it really goes back to like our formulation philosophy, right? So I think when we're in our product development meetings, you know, where a lot of brands are sitting there and saying, okay, well, what's going to sell? We're sitting there and saying, well, what problems do we have personally, and how do we fix them? So there's a lot of body bronzers out there on the market right now, but the reality is, guess what? They transfer, they streak, they don't stay, they don't give you a natural looking color. And you use it once and you're like, oh no, I'm not going to bother here. So we wanted to really fix all of those things. And then of course, put our Doll10 difference on it, which is it's clean. It's got incredible ingredients in it. So think about, not only are you getting that beautiful bronze.
It's got caffeine for your
caffeine, green tea, it's firming, it's toning.
Wait,
so it's
really
I
have to show you this. This is how white my skin really is.
You are too funny.
Look at that.
Oh my goodness.
I'm upset. Wait, I'm sending you this because I'm going to tell you something. Summer's coming, legs are out, you know, turtlenecks are dropping. This right here, I will never, ever be without a tube of that. It is so good.
That is amazing because like I said, I feel like even, I don't care if it's winter or summer, I would much rather have something that I put on rather than going out heavily in the sun.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And this is...
Yeah, it's such, we weren't even going to talk about that today, but it is, I'm obsessed with it. Like obsessed. For somebody, and you know, you are too, Danielle, because you're fair. And you know, if you go in the sun, you turn into a lobster, you'll peel, you'll, you know, when I was younger, I blistered, like.
My kids actually got me oven mitts that look like a lobster claw because I will turn red so easily. They think it's hysterical.
Oh, you're going to love this.
It is the most, and look, it's like already dry, good for your skin. No, I don't know. It's something.
So, I mean, it goes back to the beginning of the conversation where you were saying, you know, necessity is the mother of invention. I mean, understanding that.
Every single one of our products, that's how it starts. Necessity is the mother of invention. And if it's not out, if it's already out there,
we won't do it.
We're not doing it. So that's a lot of the beauty industry, unfortunately, right? Like
it's a lot of
let's pull back behind the curtain. It's a lot of copycat. And if, you know, something does well, a lot of brands hop on the trend, but I think we really look at things very, very differently. And I think you see that difference in a lot of our formulas and a lot of the way that our products perform.
I think also it's really, really interesting. Every Thursday, every Thursday, our team gets together and what we call, it's our product development meeting. And what we do is we look at different products and we'll put out there. And the very first thing that we talk about is what we hate about it. What do we hate? What do we hate? It's like our eyeliners have sharpeners in the lid. Like, hate looking for a sharpener for my eyeliner. It doesn't go on your eye like super smooth. It tugs and pulls at my eye. It doesn't wear really well. So we'll take a list of every single thing that we hate about a product. And then we start working on the formula and like ticking off those boxes. Like, okay, I hate that it doesn't dry. I hate that it creases. I hate, so we have, so it can take us 2-3 years before we launch something. 2-3 years, because if it comes in and that box isn't ticked off, it doesn't go to, it doesn't get developed. So it's just like that body bronzer took years to make, like literally years before we said, okay, doesn't transfer, it's waterproof, the color, all of that stuff. It's like the concealer. That's why it's won so many awards. Doesn't crease, brightens the under eye, takes care of the skin, you know, covers. A concealer should cover, right? Most concealers don't cover. I mean, the reality is you got to keep adding and adding and adding. That concealer to win New Beauty Best, to win Customer Choice Awards time and time and time again.
So here, going back to that, I mean, you guys, you have an incredible customer base. Like, you have fans of your brand.
We love them so much. We call them our doll squad.
I love that. I love that. So do you feel that, I mean, are you working in partnership with them? Are you really taking the feedback from them? And because I find that's how we work. I mean, we're listening to our community and really listening to what people are saying.
I think that's the important thing. It's interesting because I think when you're in, this becomes your world, like when you're working every day in it, not you sometimes you kind of need to be, what's the word I'm looking for?
We have a process of how it actually works with our community.
We
because,
asked them,
again, I'm
and then
pulling
we
off my
started,
chair.
I broke that chair. I gave her that.
We
broken
have a
chair.
Facebook Live show every Tuesday. And
Tuesday.
usually we'll put a question out to our community that we need some help on because we have our product development meeting on Thursday. So we will constantly go back to social media, to the post, to their feedback, and we really curtail our development based on what they want,
name products,
and what they're looking for.
Everything.
So it's hugely important to us, and our community is hugely important to us. And to us, it's about so much more than makeup. So without them, we wouldn't be here.
I love them. I love our doll squad. I do. I love them. They're just, every Thursday night I do a Dr. D on call where I do like very short makeup tutorials where they can take what I taught them. It's very short. It's like no long process, very short. They can take it and then they can just incorporate it the next day in their makeup routine. And I don't know. I look for it. That's my girls' night, like Thursday night.
So where can people go to see that?
So it's on Doll10 Beauty's Facebook, and we do it live. And Leigh does makeup Mondays. And she gets get ready with Leo Monday mornings at 10 a.m. And then
we have What the Cup on Tuesday.
What the Cup, which is nuts. Like you have no idea where that's going to go.
Not for the
faint of heart.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, I mean it could go anywhere. It's never scripted. It could go anywhere.
There could be some language used there.
Yeah.
So
well, that's what makes it a little bit more fun. Everybody loves a spicy salsa.
Yeah, well, it is definitely can get a little spicy. It's medium temperature.
I would say I agree.
Medium. It's not mild. It's it's not, hot habanero, but it's it can get a little crazy. But then Thursday nights I do at 7 p.m. I do Dr. D on call, and they're just like the actual tip itself is like usually maybe 5 minutes on how to do it. And then the rest of the time I just like chit chat with all the girls. It's my Thursday night girl time because the world's a little strange right now. It's not like you're going out and socializing. So that's my social hour. So our doll squad, they're so supportive, so great.
And it's really great to have their
feedback,
love
them. I love them.
So do you feel like in the past, I mean, obviously with the pandemic that happened and everything. So in the past year, it feels as though obviously social media, everything blew up because people are online, they're bored, they're at home, whatever. What do you think is the sustainability of that? I mean, do you feel like still people are going to be tuning in? I mean, it does become habit.
It only takes 6 weeks to change a habit, right? So that's kind of like the mean in the studies, 6 weeks and your habit has changed. That's why like if you work out for 6 weeks, you'll continue to work out. That's why I don't. No, I quit after the 5th week. But I do think that it's here. There are certain things that I love about social media. I think that it's really great way to connect with everyone that normally you couldn't, like, and talk to people, and particularly like we were saying earlier about like the doll squad, and like really communicate with them, like real feedback, instant,
in real time,
what they like, what they don't like, what they're looking for, what they're not looking for. I do feel that it can be a little bit too much.
And I think one of the things that we talk about, and this is a little bit off topic, but I think very much on topic for the beauty industry, is the tricky thing with social media is that it can create this unrealistic standard for beauty, right? And it's like the more time that you spend online and the more time scrolling, it's almost like, well, gosh, do you feel better about yourself or worse? So I think that's one of the things that we're really working on, and the fact that we use unretouched photos in all of our social media posts and really work to kind of bring that human element back, because it's like you can't necessarily change the world and we can't take people off of their phones, but we can bring that human element in a little bit more to just make us all feel a little bit better from the inside out and a little bit more actually connected versus virtually connected.
That is such a great point. And I know we have the same philosophy, the unretouched photos. It's such an important message to put out there, that this unrealistic standard, quite frankly, I mean, I've struggled with it as well, throughout my life.
It's amazing how many people don't realize like how the whole thing works, right? Like social media is very much not real. Like I don't even go on the popular page because I'm like, none of this is real. It's all filtered. It's all edited. And I think that it's okay to know that, and for people to not compare themselves to that, right? Like you always say, don't compare yourself to what you see on social media, because you'll never end up happy.
Never gonna get it. You're never gonna get there. Just I mean, because you're
Because
not
10 out of 10, 9 out of 10 times the person that's on that photo didn't get there.
yeah,
They're
it's
not
right. It's a
filtered.
filter.
It's filtered. I don't even know how to get to the filters on my phone. I know we have, it's
I'm not gonna
terrible.
lie, I like the filters on my phone.
The filters are okay. It's when you go into the other things where you're changing
Your body
or your
shape
skin, and
and-
it's like, we gotta accept ourselves the way that we are and love ourselves in the skin that we're in, or else, like, you know, what are we gonna do? We gotta
So, I
start
mean,
there.
short of having that kind of imagery on our social media, I mean, what do you think we can do as an industry to really kind of change the dialogue of this? I mean, it's a hard one because it's so pervasive. It's been going on for, I mean, it's not a recent thing. I mean, if you go back to the glossy magazine photos in the 1980s and 90s and Vogue, and it was unrealistic and not representing everybody.
That's
So
right.
how did we start having a little bit more inclusivity? Look at how this conversation has developed.
Yeah, I love that, but I think, honestly, I think that it's a responsibility of brands, a responsibility. It's not an option. It is our responsibility to make sure that we are giving real people there, real results, the real visuals. Inclusivity is a big deal for us. It's
and
interesting.
starting that conversation around self-love. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's one of the great things about social media is you can really speak to your customer and speak to the fact that, sure, this lipstick is fantastic and it's wonderful, but guess what? It starts on the inside, and it starts with, like, we have conversations on a lot of our Instagram lives about self-love and how do you get there, and what are the mantras that you can use, and how do you look in that mirror and love that reflection from the inside out and really take that power back. Because I think a lot of the times, all of the, like, what's that expression? Your diet is not just what you eat. It's also the media that you consume, the music that you listen to, and all the things in your social media feed. So really just being aware of that and taking that power back, taking that self-power back and that self-love back, so that you can, like I said, bloom from the inside out.
But I do feel that it's a brand's responsibility.
It is,
I
but I
do.
think all brands
I
are
do.
not there yet.
They're
so-
not
I
there
think-
yet. They're not.
They're not there yet, but I do think
We'll
that
get there.
I think, I mean, obviously there is personal accountability and everything like that, but even when you're trying to work on yourself, when brands are still pushing out that kind of message that is not inclusive, that is not really looking at the average person,
Mhm.
and average is freaking beautiful for a lot of people. There's no,
Yeah.
I've said average, and that's not the right word.
It's not.
I don't know. It's not the right word.
Real
Real
is beautiful.
real is beautiful.
Okay,
It's-
that's
it's
a
not-
lot better.
It's an interesting story. I mean, when I first started Doll10, like, this is a true story. I actually had to fight the powers that be. I'm not going to say any names, to use older models I had to fight. And I was the first brand
True story.
to use an older
you believe
model.
that?
And they're like, Doris, you need to use younger models. I'm like, oh, no. I used every single different age, different skin tones and
Skin types.
and skin types. And they're like, no, we want, and every brand out there back in the day were all using very, very young girls. And the average person was like, I don't care how much of that I slop on me, I am never going to look like that young girl. So what's it look like on me? So it was something that I did a decade ago. I'm very proud of that and paved the way for that. And I took flack. And I fought hard. And I'm like, no, our customer, our real customer isn't a teenager. She's my age. She's older. She's maybe 10 years younger. They need to see it on themselves. And it is a battle that I fought and I won and continue to do that. But it's always.
It does make me wonder who in their right mind thought that women our age are going to be interested in makeup that's going on a 20-year-old, because quite frankly, they don't have the same skin.
No.
They don't have the same skin. So I'm looking
No.
at it and I'm going, my skin's not going to blend like that. That makeup's not going to lay on my skin. I have wrinkles. It's not. I'm going to
A
have this. I
20-year-old
want to
can-
see.
Yeah. Want to see how is it going to look? Is it going to lay into my lines and wrinkles? Is it going to give me the coverage on my age spots? Is it going to make my skin like bounce and look radiant? I mean, is that going to happen? A 20-year-old can put on, quite frankly, anything. She can put on anything and look good.
And there's nothing wrong with
And I did when I
20-year-olds.
was
God
20.
bless them.
Oh no, there's
I did
nothing
too
around
when I was
20-year-olds.
20. I put everything on. It didn't matter. I'll show you the photos. They weren't good. I did. But now I can't do that now. But and if a product, which is really interesting, if a product looks really good on skin that has challenges like wrinkles, like dryness, like etched in wrinkles, crow's feet, crosshatch lines, age spots, freckling, melasma, if a product works really well and looks good on skin like that, it is a piece of cake for somebody that has great skin, even better. So, we always, like I said, in Doll10, we work backwards. We take all the problems, everything, and then that's how we
find the
formulate.
solution.
Yeah. So it is interesting, but I'm very proud of that.
No, you guys, I actually love your message, and I love the fact that you have a really great representation, and the fact that the ingredients are so much like skincare. Because
They
I'm
all
lazy.
are, yeah. It's and we
so important to us.
Yeah, and then we work with different scientists and pharmacologists too that are always on the cutting edge. So I mean, like we just launched a serum, a tinted serum primer that actually has an ingredient in it called Genofix Day that takes the computer light and the blue light and all the harmful rays that we're getting so much of, and instead of tearing down the DNA, it actually repairs the DNA. So we're
prevents
very
against that digital
Yeah.
aging, which is
What's
so
the
real
name of
for
it?
us right now.
I'll send you that too.
I was going to say, I'm in front of a blue screen all the time. No, I've
Oh,
never
you
heard
need
of this.
You
It's
need this.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
our tinted serum primer. So it's a serum, it's your primer, and it has a tint, which is really great, I think, for summer when you don't want like a lot of, you don't want a full face of coverage, but you want coverage, you want even skin. But it's infused with technology that works against digital aging. So we're always
Fun.
So,
now
so
fun
explain
fact.
to me a little bit more about digital aging. Sorry, you just got me on like a
I'm
rabbit
glad.
hole.
I've got a stat for
Go.
you that you're not going to like, that none of us are going to
Yeah,
like.
go
but I'm
ahead.
going to bring you the bad news.
Because we're all in the digital age here, people.
One day in front of your computer is equivalent to 20 minutes outside in the sun without SPF.
No.
Yes.
So, and an SPF isn't going to protect you from the blue light that's emitted from the computer or the phone. So you need something that's specific to that level of, or that type of radiation, because that's really what it is on a smaller scale. So the Genofix Day is actually providing that defense and allowing the skin to convert that energy into repairing the DNA. So it's really powerful. And it's really
Can I ask what
revolutionary because
study
no
this
one else
came
is
from?
using it.
Because I'm fascinated by this.
I can send it to you. It's proprietary information, but I will send it
Okay. I'm sorry.
for
No, but that's
it's
really
okay.
interesting.
It's
It's kind of like, no, it's good to know. It's not fun information, but it's good to know because then we can protect ourselves.
Yeah, it's interesting because those are things that it's in our day cream, it's in our serum primer, because people, like we said earlier, do you think that the whole social and internet and all of that digital stuff is going away? It's not going away.
No.
Our younger people, I mean, my grandson, who's 11 months, loves to see himself on the phone. So it's not going away. I mean, I wasn't brought up in the digital age. I was brought up when phones looked like they were,
with the long wires that swirl.
But I think we're going to see beauty really kind of shift over to that, right? Because we've seen a lot of the Zoom, how to fix yourself on a Zoom and how to make yourself look great. But I think now what we're going to see is really products that are geared towards that digital aging and how are you really defending against it?
It's a great, you have to try this. It's amazing. It's, I honestly, I'm very, for someone that went through what I went through and have to deal with the medication that I do, my skin should look a lot worse than what it does. And at 58, by taking care of my skin, what I'm putting on it, love that serum primer because because I'm in front of the computer all the time. So if you can, I always say that this isn't a dress rehearsal. You got one shot out of it, like make it happen. So I love the skin that I have at my age. And I know that there are a lot of women that probably aren't as happy as I am. And I wasn't dealt the best, hand. And, but it's really what you put on, how you put it on, the ingredients. It's like really doing your own critical thinking, right? Like, what am I using? What am I putting on? What is going to make my skin better? And that's really,
well, I think that's where this is such a great, I'm so grateful that you came on, because I think there are a lot of people that have gone, if not the same, but similar situations that feel as though they don't know what to do, don't know where to go. I feel like this is what it is and there's no other option. And thank you so much for sharing all this information. I'm so grateful.
No, we
Thank
are
you for
too.
having us, Danielle.
We are really excited. I've been looking forward to it all day. So yay. So we're definitely gonna have to get some goodies out for you to try, because we can't have you digital aging, and we need to make sure that you're bronzed up for the summer down in Florida. You cannot be going out in shorts with white legs. You can't have
with
it.
white legs. Oh yeah, like a
fix
beacon
that
of
for
light,
you.
like a beacon of light.
But
Thank
anyway,
you so
absolutely
much.
our pleasure. Thank you so much for having us on.
Thank you,
We really
Danielle.
appreciate it.